and I'm going to be doing summer and winter season. So we are a year-round mountain community. There's over just under 1,000 people that live here year-round. So our community is definitely something that we're very proud of, and I think Sun Peaks still feels very authentic, and you really feel the local vibe while you're here. So I think that's a great selling point for us. And yeah, so I'm going to run through the presentation. For those who don't know me, I work for Tourism Sun Peaks. And the way that Sun Peaks works is everything's independent. So there's the mountain, there's the hotels, the activity operators, transportation. So there's a lot of different suppliers to kind of bring together the Sun Peaks packages. So if you ever have any questions, please reach out to me, or you may have met my colleague Colin. So we're the travel trade team here in Sun Peaks, and we're always happy to help if you have any questions at all. So this is me. Thought I'd show you guys a picture so you know someone on the other side of the phone. I've been working up here. This is my 7th winter, which is crazy. And I've been living up here for about 5 years. So me and my partner, we have a house up here, or a little condo, and we're happy to call this place home. So we're located in the interior of BC. So in the summertime, most of your clients are going to fly into Vancouver, Calgary, and drive across the province into the Rockies. And they're going to have to stay somewhere in our area. So often Kamloops is known pretty well with a lot of agents because the Rocky Mountaineer goes through Kamloops, but we're only 45 minutes from Kamloops and a really great option for your itinerary across the province. And then in the wintertime, our guests are mainly flying into the Kamloops airport, which I'll touch a bit more when we get onto the winter slides, but we're really trying to get you guys to keep us top of mind as an option as they're coming across. So our village is definitely one of our unique selling points. Lining our village, we have 9 hotels, 21 restaurants, and 20 shops. So it's not massive, but it's a really nice size. Walking from top to bottom takes you about 5 minutes, and you're right at the base of the chairlift. We got a really nice range of restaurants, so you won't be eating the same thing every night. We've got a great sushi restaurant. There's a Canadiana restaurant, some really great pubs to enjoy. There's a lot of great atmosphere in the pubs. There's a lot of live music on the weekends, so you can kind of see in the top photo there's some music on the patio. And I'll just switch over to the next image. And these are just some of our patios to showcase in the summertime. I think it's, 5 or 10 years ago, people used to say maybe it was a little bit quiet in Sun Peaks in the summer season. We've really been working to develop it over the past 10 years, but it's starting to become a selling point, I think. You can still get a seat on the patio, and you're not waiting in line to get into your favorite restaurant, and you get to enjoy everything that's going on without the crowds. So it's just nice to relax on these amazing patios and enjoy the summer sunshine. And this is just an image of our accommodation the summer season. So in the summer, most of our guests are probably going to stay in the village core. There's a good range from 4-star to 3.5-star properties right in the main area. And then I'm just going to run through some of our summer activities. So our summer season really runs from June through till the end of September. We do get some guests coming through May and October, but one-night stays are perfect for those months. Everything is open year-round, so there's still lots for them to enjoy in the restaurants and the hotels. But for activities, it's really June through till the end of September. Our hiking product is definitely one of our key products in the summer season. So you go up our chairlift and you're right in the alpine. We're known for our alpine flowers, which bloom mid-July to early August, but different flowers peak at different times in the season. Our chairlift is extending by 2 extra weeks next year, so it'll be mid-June till mid-September, and then Friday to Sunday through till the end of the month. So a lot of great opportunities for your guests to go up the chairlift. It runs from 10 a.m. till 7 p.m., so if they're arriving later into the resort just for one night, they can still go up the chairlift and enjoy the alpine before maybe going for dinner and departing the next day. But we definitely are encouraging those 2 to 3 night stays in the summer season. There's enough to do, enough to experience, and it brings down the overall cost of your itinerary for their trip, because winter is still our peak season, so our accommodation rates in the summer season are really good value. And then I'll also just mention our guided hiking product is a really great option to add in. So I think it was about $32 last year, and that includes a 2-hour guided tour and an alpine lift ticket. So when you compare that to some other destinations, $32 is really good value for a guided experience plus the ride up and down the chairlift. Our alpine yoga is a great product. So this includes a 45-minute guided hiking tour and then 45 minutes of yoga in the alpine. Our biking product is really growing. So the past 2 years, Sun Peaks Resort has invested just under $500,000 into our bike product. So we've got tons of cross-country biking trails that surround the resort, but the investment has really gone into developing our bike park. Traditionally, we've been known as a pretty aggressive, advanced downhill mountain bike park. We have a lot of athletes that train here. We hold a lot of championships, but we have been investing in developing that more beginner and intermediate terrain. And with that, they developed what they call the progression park, which is similar to like a bunny slope in the winter season. It's actually on our bunny slope. And so it's got different berms and different things that you can practice hitting with your downhill bike, so that when you do go up the chairlift, you're prepared for that, because downhill biking is a bit more of an advanced experience. But for me, all I've done is ever cross-country bike. I've been getting more into it, but I did the progression park experience this year, where it's 2 hours in the progression park with an instructor, and then 2 hours in the afternoon where you go and work on coming down the bike park. And it's such a great experience. If you have guests that are looking to experience biking in BC, I couldn't recommend this product more. We also have an 18-hole golf course that surrounds the resort and a driving range right at the base of the village. We have a company that operates our stables at the base of the Burfield chairlift. So they do horse-drawn carriage rides for larger groups, as well as the independent trail rides where they take you up on the ski runs. So it's a cool way to see the mountain in the summer season. We also have the mountain cross carts. So they're the only ones in North America, and they're gravity-fed go-karts. So you actually get pulled up to the top of the runs. You get 4 laps. It's $20, so pretty affordable activity. Takes about 45 minutes to an hour. And if you're competitive, everyone gets timed, and you guys get ranked depending on how quick you are. I think my fastest time was like 1:10, so fun experience. And it's really good to just watch it too from the base of the mountain. All of the patios, you can just see everyone zipping down the course. And then we've got 2 lakes that surround Sun Peaks. So McGillivray Lake, it's about 10 minutes from the resort, and that's where you do the canoeing and kayak rentals. So you can do half-day and full-day rentals. You do have to drive yourself, but most of our guests in the summer have vehicles. And then the bottom image is our Voyager canoe tour experience. So this activity, the guide picks up the guests at the hotel, takes them out to McGillivray Lake. The guides are dressed as a Canadian fur trader, and they tell tales of the fur trade and how it came through our area. So it's kind of a neat history, get some history of the area. And then you actually have dinner in the cabin out there, and they call it the Fur Trader's Feast. So it's kind of a high-end dinner in a very rustic setting, but really great for small groups. So it does require a 6-person minimum. We get a lot of our tour companies that add this on as the experience in Sun Peaks, but it's definitely available for 6 or more people. And then the top right image is our stand-up paddleboarding product. So this is actually at Heffley Lake, which is about just over 10 minutes, probably 15 minutes from the resort as you're leaving towards Kamloops. So it's a great activity to add when they're arriving or departing from the destination. It's a 2-hour rental experience. The owner does do kind of a 15-minute 101 when you get there if you've never been on a paddleboard before. The nice thing about this lake is it's lower elevation, so it's not quite as cold, and it's really clear and beautiful, and you might see little turtles and a loon, so it's just really peaceful out there. And then events. So if you've attended these webinars before, you know that events are a big strategy for us in the summertime. So over 10 years ago now, we became a municipality, and with that, it was to really grow our summer product, and we held different free events throughout the summer season, so quite a few different concerts. So we built that up, and now we host one large concert every summertime that's completely free, and you just put your blanket or your chair on the slopes, and it's kind of a natural amphitheater. But we also have kind of a retro rock concert weekend. There's a yoga wellness festival, different races going on, so lots of events pretty much every weekend. So if your guests are coming through the area, definitely pop on our website and see what's going on. Our summer events calendar will be loaded pretty quickly here because chances are they're going to get to experience something while they're here. And then for July and August, kind of something else that we're trying to do is grow our midweek traffic. So Monday through Thursday, there's less entertainment in the village. So we're kind of targeting the families by adding a free complimentary activity Monday through Thursday in July and August. So when they check into the hotel, there'll be a list of what's going on that week. It'll be loaded on our website probably in May or June as well. But it might be we've booked out the driving range, we bring in a rock climbing wall, but just something else to add to their list of activities that they're going to experience while they're here. And then every Sunday from mid-June till end of September, we have Market Day. So we used to call it our farmers market, but it's kind of shifted, and there's more local artisans that attend than farmers now. So you can still get the produce and different goods, but there's a lot of great souvenirs that you can pick up that are all locally made, as well as maybe some baked goods to take on if you're departing the resort that day. So it's something that they can definitely enjoy while they're here. And then I've just put a few key things to remember for summer. A big thing is that we don't have the crowds. We've got an RV site very close to the village, so it's actually a parking lot that's dedicated to camping. So it's definitely not a camping experience, but if they're renting an RV and driving across the province, they get all the amenities of the village and then sleeping in their RV. It's a really good value. The accommodation is very affordable. 2 to 3 night stay is my recommendation from June through September, and our trailer runs till 7 p.m. So just a few things to make note of and to know. That's summer. I mean, as we're going on, feel free to ask any questions in the chat box, and I can answer them all at the end if that's preferred. But yeah, I'm going to move into winter now. So our winter season actually just kicked off last Saturday. So if you're a skier and you've skied in Canada, you might know that BC is a lighter year this year so far. So all of us are kind of waiting for the snow to come. Sun Peaks was the first resort to open, so we're still excited about that, but with limited terrain, and we're hoping to open up some more terrain this weekend. So our season really runs from mid-November or the last week of November until mid-April. So traditionally, we have very good early season conditions, and that's due to the fact that Sun Peaks is all grass underneath, and we do a lot of summer grooming, we call it, to get the slopes ready for our snow base to fall. So we don't need a massive base to open our terrain. And yeah, so we don't have the rock like some other destinations, so it's definitely a bonus for us. But we're hoping, I'm sure within the next few weeks, we're going to see a lot more terrain open, and for all the guests coming at Christmas, we should be totally fine, and all of our terrain will be open. So our location in the winter time. So we are in the interior of BC, so with that, it's a very dry climate, and the snow is very light. Conditions are usually -7 to -12, I think, our average temperatures, and we're far enough away from the ocean that there's no humidity or moisture in the snow. And in the winter season, most of our guests are going to fly, so they connect really well to the flights coming in from Australia. It's a 35-minute flight once you're in the air from Vancouver to Kamloops, so it's a super quick connection. From there, we have transfers that meet every single flight, and it's 45 minutes up to the resort. There's also inter-resort shuttles that you can book that require a 4-person minimum. So we're about 5.5 hours to Whistler, about 3 hours to Revelstoke. So there's a lot of different options if they are looking to do a dual resort stay. So here's some similar images to the summer ones I showed you, but this is what our village looks like in the winter season. So the village is actually on a slight slant, and we're up quite high. So we're at 4,000 feet or 1,250 meters. So it's all snow in the winter season. And we actually groom the village. So you pop your skis on, and you ski right through the middle of the village, and you're at the chairlift in under a minute. So it's really nice and convenient. You're not hopping on a shuttle to go to the resort, and you can easily pop back into your accommodation throughout the day. And then here's the same patio that I showed you in the summertime. I just want to kind of show you guys the difference, but we still got those heated fireplaces in the wintertime. There's often live music outside in the village. So just a lot of great places to enjoy our different restaurants. We're also excited there's a new restaurant opening in the Sun Peaks Lodge in the next few weeks. So it's going to be a fondue restaurant. So I'm super excited. And it's going to be replacing, there used to be a Mexican restaurant there. So a good variety. They're not going to be eating the same thing every night. We also have a little grocery market because we are year-round. I'd say it's one of the better grocery markets, but it still is a little bit more expensive than a regular grocery store, but has everything that they need for their stay while they're here. And I just want to show you, this is an image of our East Village accommodation. So specifically in the Australian market, I think we opened up a new chairlift last season called the Orient Chairlift. And so all the accommodation in the East Village, most of it used to be ski and ski out, but now it's even more accessible for all abilities. And it I want you guys to have the confidence that if you do put a family out in the East Village, that they can get back into the village really easily. So they cut in a brand new beginner run. It's a very easy pitch. It's not super flat, so it's right to ski school. Of course, if they've never skied, you might look at taking the shuttle in to ski school. But if they're a beginner, it's a very, very easy run for all abilities. So it's definitely a great addition. And here's just, I wanted to show you guys what the village looks like. So it's right in the center there. The thing about Sun Peaks terrain is it's a 360 degrees of skiing. So all of 3 mountains surround the village basically, and everything's designed to flow in. So it's very convenient to ski around. All the hotels and restaurants are mainly in that main village because you just pop right in. And this is our trail map. So I'm just circling around with my mouse where the village is. And we've got Todd Mountain. That was our first mountain. Sundance Orient is our ridge, so that's that new chairlift that I was just talking about. And then Mount Morrissey is over on the other side. So all the mountains are interconnecting. We don't have any gondolas because everything flows really easily. A few key things to note is every chairlift has a beginner and intermediate run off of it. So regardless of your ability, you get to ski all 3 mountains. And because all the runs slow down, you can go up a chairlift with the family, each pick your run and connect down at the bottom. So it's really easy to ski together. And then up at the top here on my mouse, I'm going around the area called Gills. So it's actually a hike-in area. So it takes about 10, 15 minutes to hike out there maximum. And they actually groom the trail out there. So it's very easy. And then you just drop into this area. So there's some beautiful glades. It's really wide open. But the great thing is it's actually all in bounds. And there's patrollers out there. They monitored the terrain, so it feels like you're in the backcountry, but it's actually all in bounds and super safe. So we have different camps that they host out there. We have a lot of guests that are maybe doing CMH heli skiing or Mike Wiggly's. So they actually come do a warm-up in Sun Peaks first, and then they have their ski legs, and then they go heli skiing. Yeah. So I think I mentioned this, but we're the 2nd largest ski resort in Canada. So we're 4,000 acres of terrain. 137 runs, and we have so much terrain and not a ton of accommodation. So when I say there's no lift lines and there's no crowds, I'm being honest. You might wait for 5, maybe 10 minutes at the base around Christmas to New Year's, but for the most part, you're hopping on that chairlift and you're skiing hard all day. So I kind of mentioned a few of the camps that we hold in that Gills area, but we've got a great ski school programs for all abilities. Ski school starts at the age of 3. The Australian market really likes to pair it with our Sundance Kids Center. So they might do a lesson in the morning and then go to the Kids Center, have lunch, and they do daycare for the afternoon while the parents are skiing. The Kids Center also runs in the evening. So depending if maybe the adults are doing an activity or going out for dinner. There's a lot of different, they're all themed, the evenings, they might have a craft night or a movie night, but just some different options for daycare. And then for complimentary mountain tours, so I'm sure some of you have heard of Nancy Green, but she's an Olympic champion. She came to Sun Peaks in the 90s and really helped with the vision and development of the resort. Her husband, Al, in that photo is actually our mayor, so a small town. But she's fantastic. She skis with guests 5 days a week now. So she's retired and she's living in Sun Peaks. She used to work in Parliament in the Senate, but she's here, and it's one of guests rave about her experiencing the mountain with her. And it might be 2 people or 20 people, but she'll show you around and give you some tips. And then every day we've got the complimentary mountain host tours. So they run at 9:15 and 1 p.m. They're broken up by abilities, and they just go out and show the guests around the slopes. Recommend this for day 1 for your clients, but we have guests that they do it every single day because it's such a good experience. Okay, and I'm just going to run through some of the different activities. We've got a really nice range of non-ski activities. We've got the bungee trampoline here. Blazers hockey is in Kamloops, so there's a schedule up on the website, and there's different nights that guests can book it, and a bus takes them down to Kamloops where they watch a hockey game and then they come back up. You can also ride in a Cat Tracks groomer. The Alpine Fondue is definitely a highlighted experience, I think. So you actually go up the chairlift. It's Wednesday and Thursday nights. You're in all your ski gear. You go to our Mid-Mountain Lodge, and you have a fondue dinner and dessert. And then you're broken up into groups, and you're given a headlamp or a torch. And you actually ski down a freshly groomed run in the dark. So if it's a clear night, I always turn my headlamp off, and you ski under the stars, and your other senses kind of come into play. And although the fondue is delicious and fantastic, that ski down in the dark, it's just like there's nothing quite like it. So if you have guests coming, it's a bit more of a higher price point, but I couldn't recommend it more. It's a really cool activity. Dog sled tours are another great one. If you guys look at the picture in the middle, the dog is just so happy. I always like to point that out because our dogs are so happy. The company that runs this, they're so fantastic. Those dogs are family. They all live at their house together, out in their kennels, of course. But they've got about 50 dogs, and they've got tours that run all day. You get to drive the sled as well as ride in it. It's 2 people on the sled. You drive around a frozen lake. You're out in the backcountry. It's a beautiful experience. And they just had some puppies. So you actually get to meet all the puppies after and feed the dogs. So definitely recommend this one. And for the Australian market, this is the one activity that get your guests to pre-book it with you, because Christmas to New Year's and the first 2 weeks of January, this activity is packed. So it will sell out and they will miss it. So get them to book it with you if you can. The guided ice fishing is another really popular one with the Aussie market. So it's a very Canadian experience, but there's a morning tour and an afternoon tour, and it's a private experience, so up to 5 people. And the guide picks you up at your hotel or condo, drives you about 10 minutes down to Heffley Lake, where you instantly he's drilling holes in the ice and gets you fishing right away. He sets up his heated hut, so it's about 12 to 15 degrees Celsius in the hut. And in this photo, you can see them looking down the fishing holes. And when you're ice fishing, you actually see the fish swimming around. So they're looking at the rainbow trout, and it was about a 90% catch rate last winter. So if they catch a fish, the guide will fillet it up for you and drop it off at your accommodation to cook for dinner. Whew. We also have snowshoe rentals. So you can rent the snowshoes at any time, but there's a lot of great tours that you can experience as well. So daytime tours are anywhere from an hour and a half to 4 hours, and then the evening tours include a campfire. The main one is you cook s'mores over the fire, which is also very Canadian, and then you come back with a headlamp in the dark. A few more activities. We've got the tube park. We've got an ice skating rink. The snow limo in the top right corner, you actually have a guide on the back, and they strap you in, and you can go up with the family and enjoy the slopes. We have people that sometimes hire a photographer, and they can follow them around and get photos with the family if you have someone that can't ski. And then the snowmobile tours are another really great product. So the daytime tour includes playing in the powder fields, ripping around, where the evening tour also includes a campfire where you make hot dogs over the fire, kind of a light dinner experience, and then you come back in the dark. We also have 35 kilometers of Nordic trails. Unique to Sun Peaks is you actually get to go up the Morrissey chairlift with your Nordic ticket, and you ski right down into the backcountry trails. We also have a top-to-bottom 9-acre terrain park. Our sleigh rides run daily starting at 3 p.m. on the hour. And then our first track experience, if you have guests that are intermediate to advanced, this is another product that I think is a no-brainer to pre-book. So I think it was $35 last year. I would have to double check, but it's still really good value. And you get up the chairlift in an hour and a half before everyone else. You're with a guide, and you get I think it's $25 in food vouchers. So you get a lot. You get $15 for breakfast and $10 for après. You're up there early, and it's basically $10 to get up there early with a guide. So very good product. Runs Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. And then for events, like the summer, we've got lots going on in the winter season. We do New Year's really well, so they actually do the fireworks show at 8 o'clock, so you can put the kids to bed and maybe go out and enjoy one of the local venues. Lots of different races and events going on. The holiday kickoff weekend is coming up in a few weeks, and this is a really popular one. I just wanted to highlight it because if your guests can travel outside the Christmas period and maybe come the week before, it's a really good time to come. There's lots of events going on. The conditions are traditionally really good, and it's just a nice way to enjoy the holidays pre-Christmas. And then if you're familiar with Sun Peaks, you will know that we've hosted a January wine festival for over 20 years. But last season, we actually said farewell and had our last festival, and it's partially due because January is already so busy, and we want our wholesalers to be able to get accommodation for their guests. And so why fill up our hotels with regional traffic when maybe we could spread that out into more of need periods? So there's actually a wine festival December 5th to 8th kicking off here, and then a new one in March, also the 5th to 8th of March, and it's a wine and food festival. And we're actually seeing this year the Australian market isn't just traveling in January. It seems like we're seeing more, Sun Peaks at least is, seeing more people book outside those periods. So February and early March are great times to come because we continue to grow and we see more skiers, and we're not getting any more hotels yet. So they're obviously traveling in different periods. So if they can come in March, awesome time to come. And then here's just a few more things to remember. So August 31st is really big for the early book buy for Australia, but it seems like April and May are the big booking periods for winter. The market is very knowledgeable already, so we're seeing them pre-booking very early. We've got the Australian landing page with some of our main wholesalers. Remember, we're the second largest ski area, and we've got no crowds, no lift lines, dry snow. And the kids ski and rent free up to 12 years old is another great thing that we include in our contracts, and that's only available to trade. So if the parent has a lift ticket and rentals, it's really good value for a family coming over. I am just going to mention one thing before I show you guys the prize, because I know there's some people on the call that do know our product well. Sun Peaks Lodge actually just bought the hotel next door to them. So it's going to be a studio building. So there's going to be 24 new suites in the village. So although we didn't get a new hotel, we didn't sell that hotel. So there are some new units going to be available. So I know Melissa from Mogul's on here, so that'll be available to sell very soon. So we're excited about that. You might already have it. But just for this market, people want condos in the village with kitchenettes or 1 and 2 bedrooms. So it's just great to have a few more properties available. So yay. All right. And then I haven't entered a win. I've got a Sun Peaks swag bag. I'll give you guys a few minutes to write down the questions. And if you guys just want to send me an email with your answers, I'm going to draw someone on Friday and I'll send that out. But I'm always available to help you guys if you have any questions. Also, if you're coming to Sun Peaks, please email me. Sometimes there's stuff that I can do for you, or I can at least meet you for a drink and a ski. We also have the travel trade page on our website, so sunpeaksresort.com/travel-trade, and I'll send you guys that in our follow-up. But there's great resources on there, as well as a quarterly trade newsletter that I put together. So yeah, but thanks everyone. I'll let Charlie pop on again.
Thanks so much, Megan. The floor is open for questions, everybody, or comments. Anything that you'd like to share, please type it into the chat box. Thanks, Megan. Awesome overview, summer and winter. And I was saying before how I just love to see those contrasting pictures, the same views in both seasons. It's
Yeah.
absolutely fascinating, and the different activities, the different landscape. You got to go twice at least, really, hey?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot to do here for sure.
A lot to do in
I think
all
that's
those
why we're seeing
events.
our what do you say? We're getting more people moving here, so our population is growing. So 1,000 people might not seem like a lot, but when I moved here, there was 500 people. So more people are wanting to live this lifestyle and come live here because it is so unique and amazing.
Yeah, it definitely looks that way, and fantastic for families as well. Thank you for all of that great information. Just making it easy for families, which is what everybody wants, is just the easiest way possible to take the family skiing. Leanne says, thanks, Megan. Would love to come to Sun Peaks. Cheers for all your information. Yes, heaps of information. And as I mentioned, it will be recorded. I'll post it to the Facebook group and also send it out in the follow-up email tomorrow. Erin says, thanks, Megan. Alpine fondue dinner and skiing down in the dark sounds incredible. Yes, it is. I have done that one a few years ago. I need to go back. But yes, it is incredible. What a great experience. Hey, Megan, it must be one of your favorite things to do.
Yeah, since you've been there, they've actually completely renovated that lodge. So it's doubled in size and the product's even better now. So you have to come
Oh,
back and do
wow.
it again.
Oh, I'm definitely keen to come back. I will be. Anybody else heading there this year? Got clients going? Anybody been? All those fantastic activities. Hopefully everyone's scribbled down your questions and answers. Send those through to Megan for that funky looking prize pack. Erin says, thanks, Megan. Looks fabulous all year round. Yes, we need to go for a whole year. That's what I'm thinking.
We should do a
Okay.
house swap, Charlie.
Yes, we should all do a house swap. Everybody, let's all, we can all work remotely for a year. Sounds good. Melissa says, thanks heaps, Megan. Alrighty, we will sign off there. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Megan, for a great presentation. And
Thank you.
hopefully see you again in 2 weeks for our last webinar of the year. Everybody have a great day.